story online, then there's all these links. That they mention Obama, they'll link to his site. If they mention some sports team, they'll link to there, or they might link to a previous article about it. OpenCalais populates those things automatically, and it's a service that is available for free up to a certain point, and then beyond that point of usage, it's a paid service. That's how they make money off of it. Yes, sir.
You may have said this earlier, and I'm sorry if I missed it.
No worries.
Have you any experience of book publishers using APIs in order to market chunks of content?
We have seen people do, with the book publishers, certainly data, books that have their sort of information data. Fiction I haven't seen yet, other than people who have done, like syndicated with there will be book publishers who might make APIs available for the first chapter of each of their book, those kinds of things. We're talking to publishers about things like that, just like any other content provider. I think that, and obviously, on the flip side, the thing that we do see a lot is we see a lot of APIs of the actual physical publishing. So a company that actually prints books or prints manuscripts and such, to have APIs available so that third-party applications can very easily push content into them and get the books published. We're seeing a lot of that. Yeah?
Thinking about Mashery as a potential business partner, can you tell us a little bit about your business model?
Sure.
How do you guys get paid?
Monthly. It's actually a really simple business model. We're a software as a service, so we get paid a monthly fee that's based on two major factors. One is how complicated it is, what we're doing for you in terms of the implementation and such, and then volume. So we get paid basically depending on how many API calls we process for you. But it's a flat rate. We don't do rev share. We don't do, your business is your business. We're an infrastructure provider to it. So it's a standard software as a service model.
So, for example, in the case between Netflix and Ginny, who's your partner?
Netflix is our customer. We're creating a distribution channel for Netflix. Ginny uses us all day long and probably doesn't even know we exist. Unless they look at the little teeny, Power by Mashery thing on the Netflix developers up. Yes, ma'am?
Did you say that you have to be a fairly large organization for it to be cost-effective?
We just launched, last week we launched an API for a company called SnapScores, which has one full-time employee and one part-time employee. So no, in fact, quite the opposite. I think that there's some great, if you look at this list, right, Zamanta's 4 guys in Slovenia, okay? And seriously, and the New York Times is a little bit bigger, although not as big as they once were. So wide range of companies here, and Urban Mapping is a very small provider of data. What we're actually seeing on the startup side, and running a startup myself, APIs are the very, very easiest way for small companies to get distribution, because you can't, as a small company, you cannot afford to buy the kind of advertising or to do the kinds of things that used to take to scale your own site. Very few companies have as their core competency running large-scale websites. Amazon does, Google does, Facebook does. What you need as a small company is you need to leverage that capability, the distribution channel of others, to get whatever your special thing is out and about. And so we really see quite the opposite. Basically, if you're doing a startup these days, in fact, a VC friend of mine wrote a blog post a year ago this month that said, it was called "No API, You Suck." And basically, he said he wasn't investing anyone, he wasn't going in that direction, and he recently had an update of it, which was "No API, You Really Suck." But it really is the means by which we all are specializing. At Mashery, we don't run servers. I'm not good at running servers. I have Amazon Web Services and Internet apps to do that for me. I don't want to run my own mail server. There's a lot of things. We do payment processing for some of our APIs. I'm not a credit card company. I have a partner called Zora for that. And so everybody now wants to focus on what's your core competency and get someone else to do the things that aren't. And we're seeing that whether the company is small or large. Question over here. Back to you.
Thinking ahead to this new Apple, I guess the iPhone new platform, 3.0, whatever it is,
Yep.
that you'll be able to actually transact within the app that you download. Could one conceivably think about an API in which you could then go buy a book?
Oh, sure, absolutely. In fact, so like Best Buy right now does not currently have a buy button in their API, but they will soon. And that will allow you to do it. Netflix, you can go all the way, you can do anything through the Netflix API that you can do through Netflix.com, including signing up and provisioning. All of that's available because ultimately the way a website is built, it's a bunch of building blocks with a front end called a website. If one of your building blocks is buy a book, then you create, there are companies with shopping cart APIs. Amazon already provides an API around buying books, around fulfillment of books, so there's a ton of interesting information there. And the point might be to take your content and the things you might have available as an API to help people create content around it, and then as part of your terms of service mandate that, let's say, the Amazon API is used with your affiliate code to actually go buy something. You know, that people are looking at, and that's another point that comes up, people are looking at the API as a very significant sort of corollary to an affiliate program in general. That if you look at sort of the old school concept, and I'm sure everybody here knows the concept of market development funds and co-op advertising and such, it's very big in the book industry. And APIs are essentially the new version of market development funds and co-op advertising. You're running an online business, here are a bunch of things we will give you, a bunch of tools, a bunch of information, a bunch of real-time data that we will give you as a means of building a marketing experience, a customer service experience, customer experience around our products in such a way as you will sell more of them and we will both make more money. Yes, ma'am?
Is the expectation that the outside folks, who particularly be like book publishers, corporate, say, reading group,
Yep.
online, are these folks from the reading groups coming to the publisher's dev API site and then creating these APIs to then proliferate across the
When you say the reading group,
like book clubs
or book
online?
club. So what I would expect to happen instead probably would be someone who's kind of into building things like this and happens to be in a book club is going to make some really cool book club application that other book clubs are going to come and use, and will pull in different information from different publishers. And what's going to end up happening, of course, is that the more exciting and interesting you can make this sort of book club online experience, the more likely that the publishers whose stuff is available in APIs are going to have their books picked up by book clubs. So, you know, if you create this ecosystem and you create this petri dish under which interesting and fun things can happen, what happens is people want to play there. That grows that market, and you'll find that, you know, just as a lot of other kinds of marketing have taken place, that things that quote go viral, unquote, you know, you can't force something to go viral, but there are certain things you have to create in terms of the ingredients of something so that virality can happen. More questions? Yes, sir.
I see LinkedIn on your list. Can you give us a little bit of information as to what you've done for them? 'Cause I wasn't even aware they had an API.
Yeah, most people aren't. And if you go to our site, you'll see that it says, you know, the LinkedIn developer site is under password protection. LinkedIn is working really hard on opening an API. We are giving them some advice on it, and we are providing them with a developer portal, the developer communication stuff around that. But right now, the LinkedIn API, you basically have to know someone on LinkedIn to get access to it. They're fairly, they have a lot of external pressure and internal pressure to get their API open as soon as they can. Yes, ma'am?
Do you ever market? Because I'm thinking, let's say someone has a segment they want to go after, rather than just waiting for people to discover you.
Yep.
Do outward, then do you do that, or is your client responsible for that?
A combination. We do some of it. For instance, this past March, Best Buy and a couple of other customers really wanted to talk to a certain group of developers that all tend to get together in Austin every year at a festival called South by Southwest. So we did a big event down there that we actually ran, although they all paid for it, called Circus Maximus, where we had tons of developers coming through and talking about APIs. So we have certain things, outreach we do, like we have people at Google I/O. The Google I/O show is going on right now in San Francisco that we're